Here's the same us though, which I come here for the nostalgia. I come here for the film reviews. I come here for all of the many things that we do to make y'all feel like a kid again, as the intro provides. Y'all know me, Maurice Hunter III, one of the Stoop kids here, but I'm not alone. I'm here with Ash Bash and Mia G. How you ladies doing today?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Pretty great.
Pretty good, pretty great. Okay. Uh and like they said, so we're here, man. We're doing this thing. We got another fun, interesting episode coming today for y'all. But before we do that, what I didn't do last week, one of my co-hosts, Ash Bash, being on top of things as she is, reminded me that we didn't acknowledge the Stoop kids. And so we definitely want to do that because this is a community of all of us that just are in love with nostalgia. So without further ado, our first acknowledgement of the Stoop Kid would be from an Apple review. The subject line is a must hear, and it says, "This podcast definitely a must listen. The topics and the movies that the cast talk about brings me back to many moments I wish I could relive. This makes you forget about being an adult, bills, and the whole nine, and straight to the Saturday morning bowls of cereal." From Ty underscore dog 773. How y'all feel about that?
Oh my gosh. That's the goal, right?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Everybody remember that Saturday morning bowls of cereal.
Oh yeah.
Turning the box straight around.
No,
Staring
no,
at the same maze for 5 minutes.
yeah, no socials, no, like, TV on. Like, you definitely, like, that was everything. That was the kids' newspaper. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
And how dope was it? Like, you're trying to solve the maze on the box with your eyes, because
Right.
you won't dare use your hand, because you need that to keep scooping out that good cereal without it getting soggy. You know what I mean? So you use your eyes, kind of looking, trying to solve the maze. So, well, Ash.
What?
Oh, okay. Well, shout out to Ty for
Oh, that's from the hubby. That's from Hubs. I didn't help him come up with nothing. That was all him. He really does listen and he enjoys what we do. And it's funny, he was listening to our cop and a half, and I'm just listening to him. He was looking at it on his phone, the YouTube, and he's like, Lump said something about we was talking about the fake sleep. And he was just like, hell yeah. He was like, all the stuff. He just talking to the phone. I'm like, that's
yeah,
what we
the
want.
the
That's what we want.
breathing, try to get the breathing
Yeah, the
down.
breathing.
Like,
He was rolling on that. But
that's
yeah, man.
serious work back then. Like, hey, listen, the trying to, like, sell it.
Yeah.
Like, none of us are actors as kids. We're trying to sell it right now, so I could turn this TV back on at volume 1.
Yes.
Hope you don't see the
Out of
light.
the chest.
Yeah, I have the chest, trying to hope you don't see that little light under the door. Like, So, man, shout out to my brother-in-law, Ty, man. Thank you. Also, we got a comment from our Poseidon review, Mama C. She said, "This podcast is everything." And she didn't stop there. Thank you for that. I can't tell you this enough, Mama C. How many times, however many times you listen to this, it is truly an honor, because it's like, it's really an anomaly for me in a way, where it's a person from her generation that rocks with what we do. I mean, obviously that speaks to, her supportiveness of, Mia G, of course, but still, like, you don't have to go over and beyond to, like, keep listening. Enough is say, hey baby, I listened to your podcast, I like what y'all doing, and keep it moving. But the fact that she's tapped in and really into it, I can't say that enough. That always will hold a lot of weight for me. And before y'all react, she also spoke to Cop and a Half, so I want to make sure I get that while we're on Mama C.
Oh
She
Lord.
she said, I had never heard of this movie, but I am in love. It was hilarious, and I can honestly say it is a favorite of mine now. Now that's fire.
Let's go.
Ash you really pulled a rabbit out of the hat right there. Got the mama and the daughter on the joint,
I do what I can,
What y'all think about that from one of the Stoop kids? You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
Amazing.
I got another funny story about her going into this episode too. So
Okay. Once we get through this last comment, then I can't wait to hear because those insider stories, like even the picture that came in the group chat was about Burt Reynolds, was just,
Oh man,
oh man, I
Bert,
just love this. I love having these moments.
hold the
Never,
hair, Bert.
hey, listen, the Chewbacca vibe is crazy. Um, and lastly, one of the faithful, I can't say this enough too, Public Enemy B. He listens to everything that not only that I'm a part of, but of course Spike Lee, and I imagine he probably listens to everything Rich is involved in now that he's over there at another week in the book. So Public Enemy B, man, just a loyal listener, and he goes as far as records, and he may put out a video short of us at some point. He's done that. I've seen it. So shout out to him. But he said he ended up doing what Ash has put out there for the Stoop Kids. He ended up getting involved on the Flash with Ash, but it was this or that. And so what he did was he gave us his answers. So when it came to this or that, he said Nickelodeon over Disney. He said red Kool-Aid over grape. I told y'all was tripping on that.
Hey,
He said, Hey Arnold over Rugrats. Slightly. And then he said Saved by the Bell over Boy Meets World. That's still a hard call. I am going to go back to Boy Meets World at some point. I really am. Like,
yeah, I enjoyed it.
yeah. And lastly, Blockbuster over Family Video. I mean that was so easy. Like, come on.
But I thought about that. I think Family Video had better game selections though.
They may have.
Because I was just thinking, I'm like, Family, because I don't remember Blockbuster having too many like games like that. But yeah, I thought about that.
Family Video, I felt like they were a lot more. They covered a lot more locations. I feel like you could find a Family Video a lot easier than a Blockbuster in my opinion. I mean, maybe it's a Midwest thing, but I don't know. But for me, I didn't see Blockbuster as much as we've seen Family Video, home video, whatever it is. Like it was always alternatives.
You guys are from Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Ohio, Cincinnati specifically. I feel like we had way more Blockbusters. There was like one Family Video that we all knew exactly where it was, but there were more like we went to Blockbuster more. Like there were more locations.
Okay.
It could be too because we spent a lot of our life in Kentucky too, which I know they call it the South, but I still feel like it's Midwest adjacent. You know what I mean? It's not hard South. Pause if necessary, but like it's just not like to me. If Indiana's a little more fast paced, but Kentucky, and so maybe that could play a part of it. That region of Kentucky, Indiana could have been different. We were a little older by then, and at that point, Netflix and Redbox started to really become prevalent. So it could be something like that too. Timing. Yeah, so that is the acknowledgement of our Stoop Kids before Mia G gives us another insider of these legendary stories and experiences. If y'all want to reach out to us, man, childishgrownups3@gmail.com. We'll read your stuff online. If y'all got questions, if y'all have ideas for what y'all think the show could do or segments, or if y'all just want to submit a movie, say, hey, I would love to get y'all take on this. By any means, we're open to it. And we got something special for y'all coming real soon. So y'all be on the lookout. When y'all get those, I think this is going to really turn up the nostalgia. I think y'all going to really love it. So when we get that all settled in, we'll reveal that on the air, and it's going to be wonderful. So y'all can also follow us on Instagram, Childish Grown Up. So Mia G, what you got for us?
Okay. So when I got my phone call from Mom, as I always do, she was talking about us recording today, and we were talking about what movie we would be recording. And this is something that, if you know my mom, she is LL Cool J's biggest fan. Like, and I'm not saying that as like just, I'm your biggest. No, she's his biggest fan. Like, coming up, she's like seen him, like ran into him on multiple occasions. I don't know if it was on accident or if she was
hair swooping.
But like growing up, she had a picture on her mirror, and it was a picture of him sitting in a limo, and you could see the little red of her fingernail where she had like reached, and he was like holding her hand in the picture. Wow. She took it. She had a picture blown up and framed on the wall of her in her work clothes holding my niece with LL Cool J as he was coming out of a radio station here in Cincinnati, where she went and got a picture with him when he came out. So we were talking, and she's like, "Oh yeah, his birthday was the other day." I was like, "What?" She was like, "Oh yeah, I think, yeah, his birthday was the 10th." I was like,
Wow.
"Mommy, like, you know his birthday?" She's like, "Yeah, I almost had your sister on his birthday."
Wow.
So growing up, he was always referred to as my stepdad, but
Oh my, Mama C. I can't wait to get her on for a movie. Cause I
And the
mean, listen,
dedication.
the dedication, like that's OG fandom too.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm following on online and I'm like you gotta really have your ear to the streets at that time. You know what I
Right.
mean? To find where your shows are gonna be and like, yo, I'm and I asked Mama C this. Did she listen to his latest album? Does she still listen to his music at all or
I have no idea. Like,
okay. Is she into rap music at all? Yeah, I feel you. I mean, I'm almost telling off low
I
key,
mean,
like so.
she is and she isn't. Probably kind of like myself. I'm
Mm-hmm,
not a huge rap girly, but if it's something or somebody that I really like, I'll listen to it.
mm-hmm,
Or like what's popular.
mm-hmm. Like so, like just like on some like mainstream type deal.
Yes and no. It just depends. It's got to be like somebody that I actually like. Like I don't seek out rap music just
Mm-hmm.
as like my favorite genre of music, but
What do you like? Just
like
curious.
rap artists.
Yeah. Mhm.
Ooh, chat. Okay.
You could just
I
give
don't
me
know if
one.
I
Or
want
or,
to
or,
do
or
y'all.
just what's in rotation right now that when you do find yourself listening to rap, put it that way.
Right now, it's Doechii.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's what I've been listening to.
Okay.
But like
Yeah.
generally speaking, I'm like Jay-Z, Kendrick.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to like I don't want to say anything inappropriate on here today, but
Today.
Girl.
Yeah, I was giving it up crazy last week. Oh,
hey, I got a couple more, but
okay, that's cool.
I ain't got my wine. I'm trying to keep it cute.
The wine settles it in.
Mhm.
That's fair.
But
That's
then,
cool.
I'm just I don't have like, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fine. I mean, it's not a deposition or nothing.
Just was curious, getting to know you,
Yeah. She don't know. She don't know our Drake fandom over here. So, but that's
Yeah,
cool.
I know.
Oh,
I've
she
heard,
knows. Oh,
I
okay.
just
All
said
right.
that's
Cool.
why I'm like, y'all don't want to know my
No,
thought.
they don't want to know. All right. Okay. Well, shout out again to Tyler, Mama C, and Public Enemy B. Childish grown up moments. Ash, you have any childish grown up moments over the past week?
I do not. I was really trying to think that I'm
Mm-hmm.
like before the pod came, I'm like I couldn't think of anything that stood out.
Yeah.
Again, we're childish in real life, so every day is a childish grown up moment, but
Mm-hmm.
nothing specifically this week for me. So
Fair enough. Okay. Mia G.
I, I have one, but again, inappropriate. So
Dang, is it like that for a childish grown up moment?
no, okay.
we grown ups,
Hear me out, right?
Okay.
Hear me out. So yesterday, me and my cousin were sitting in the kitchen with my daughter, and we were getting into, how you get into like a little childish argument with the little kid.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Because she keeps telling us that we were born in the olden days. And we're like, well, we're grown up, so we can do whatever we want. And she's like, so, but you were still born in the olden days. And I'm like, we can buy our own makeup and we can buy our own toys. And my daughter was like, y'all are grown ups. You don't even play with toys.
Oh, don't tell me she stumped y'all. Don't tell me she stumped y'all right there. She did. The kids.
Not
Oh,
exactly. But that's what makes it inappropriate.
I see where this is going.
I'm picking up what you're putting down
okay,
there.
I see where this is going. You see?
Little do you know.
Oh man.
Hey, that's a childish grown up moment.
That
for
is,
real.
we interrupt this program to bring you.
Don't worry, we'll put that disclaimer out there.
That's good. That's pretty good, man.
That's funny. That was
I
good.
like that. But see,
Mm-hmm.
that's how we so connected because we can fill in the blank, and that's
Yeah, of
I love
course.
stuff like that. My favorite jokes are, I'm gonna lead you up to it, and then you pick up the punchline. Those are my
Mm-hmm.
favorite jokes. So shout out to shout out to Bia, man. For me, a couple of childish grown-ups moments this week. I'm glad to have. One, we were getting a pizza or whatever, and decided to. I was like, I was really trying to. I couldn't think of it at the time, but it was like I wanted to watch like the little like ninja challenges where people do the obstacle courses against each other type of thing. But I was kept saying Gladiator, but we end up actually watching American Gladiator from like the '90s, late '80s, '90s. And if y'all remember American Gladiator, obviously we get a child version of that with a few of those child games, Double Dares and what is it, the Temple, Hidden Temple, or if I'm saying it incorrect, y'all can correct me. But watching American Gladiator, they didn't give them real names. Like they all had like Ice and Thunder, and it was co-ed, so it had men and women. But like I don't know if y'all remember that, but like clearly these are all bodybuilders.
Mm-hmm.
But if y'all don't know, the thing that stands out to me, bro, when we was watching it, it's like when they do the like they stand on the legs and they both got the little double-sided like puff things and they got to knock each other off the thing. Mm-hmm. Bro, it took me back. Like I can't tell you, I don't remember who house we was at, but watching that and them in the ball, they got to hit the thing and then they do bouncing on the bungee cords, like all those. Like I was like, oh my god, like bro, we wanted to do this like so bad as a kid. Like bro, I want to be a gladiator. Put me in the straps. I'm jumping around. I'm trying to dodge the little foot. Like bro. Listen, if y'all haven't watched that in a while, I'm telling y'all, go watch American Gladiator. It's definitely gonna have that, that '90s ash, that ashiness. Old television got a certain ashiness to it. Y'all know what I mean. Like now everything's colorful and bold, but there's a certain ashiness to back in the day, and I enjoy that actually. And then my other childish grown up moment is a movie. Actually, I never seen this movie before. It's on YouTube, and I may bring this up as a movie later down the road. But it stars our man, please
Jason
help me.
Weaver.
Jason Weaver. It's called Summer Switch. And I never seen this movie before. It was on YouTube. It came out in '94. And just seeing Jason Weaver, like he was the lead, of course. And then the other co-lead, I guess, was I don't know, maybe Mia knows, but from Boy Meets World, the Corey's friend. What was his name?
You talking about Sean.
Yeah, he was Sean
I don't know his name.
That's okay. I'm gonna pull it up. But so the premise of I won't get into the whole. Well, the premise of the movie is that they do the switch, which is just a thing that you've seen so much in the '90s, where they switch and it's kind of the fish out of water effect. The Sean character is Rich. He's a delinquent. And so they end up switching because they happen to have the same exact name, and it's a summer camp movie. And bro, when I tell you this movie's so nostalgic, oh my god, I've never seen this before. That's why I say I think this could be an interesting movie later down the road to bring up during our summertime, because it was so, again, had that '90s ashiness, had the blue carpet, all of that stuff that we love in films.
His name is Ryder Strong.
Oh, his name is
Ryder Strong.
Ryder Strong. Yeah. Okay. Wow. What a name.
I know, right?
Bro, you meant to be great with a name like that. But shout out to them. I think I was looking at the comments on YouTube, and we can move on. And they have a podcast. It's him, the guy that played Corey's older brother, and the young lady that plays Topanga. Shout out to Topanga. If I had hair, I would just swoop that real quick next to the Pink Ranger. You know what I mean? But they have something. They got a podcast called Pod Meets World, which is popular as far as reviewing television shows that actors were part of. But I think they talked about it recently, and so I'm like, I got to go check it out because it's such a good film for what it is, and it gives us what we needed back in the '90s, where it's like it's teaching kids a lesson about things, like a moral. It gives us a moral compass to look at, like and let us feel how we should feel. So if y'all haven't seen this on YouTube, it's called Summer Switch, I believe. And man, what a movie! And then of course, man, our guy just did his thizzle. Like I wanted to be like him. He was dark skinned. I'm dark skinned, and I thought he had a good look working for him. Of course, smart guy. All that. I thought he was the smoothest dude. I'm not gonna even give y'all the terrible details of how I tried to emulate him. But shout out to Jason Weaver, man.
I like Jason.
Yeah, shout out. And he on The Chi and all
Especially
that
on
good
The
stuff.
Chi. He's doing really good. I
Man,
like
I
him.
just started watching it again, so I was like, all right.
Yeah,
I treat The Chi like Empire. So
I think this might be their final season. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But
I think it
they
is.
could okay. Do you watch it, Mia?
I
you into it?
have, but I did not watch this final little
The
season.
one that
I
just
don't know if
passed?
they did like was it like a half the season, and then I watched some of it, but I didn't finish it because it's starting to get a little ridiculous. But
yeah, that's why I said like
Well, Duda,
yeah,
they
when they
got him
got
up out of there. So
when they got
sorry,
rid
bro.
of like the original, like I'm always curious of what The Chi was supposed to be before they got rid of like the original guy for whatever behavioral issue that they had. The Chi was just a different show to me at that point, and I thought the potential was
the dark skinned kid. What's
not the
his name?
kid, the older brother. Like he was the older brother. He was a chef.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. He played Easy E.
Yeah, he played Easy E. Like
Yeah.
it's so far from like remembrance of people, like they forget. But The Chi felt different at that time, and I really liked it when it was like that. When they let him go, and then of course they let the brother go of the dread. They let him go. Or I don't know if he got killed. I can't remember.
Yeah, he got killed off.
He got killed off, obviously. But the tone of it changed, and so I'm okay. Now I've had so much time not watching it, I don't take it as serious, so I can treat it like Empire. That's what I did with Empire. I was like, okay, it's not a serious show. You're not serious people. I can just enjoy it for like, okay, this is soap opera. Like,
You're
seriously.
not serious people.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Spike and Rick. Like they know the Logan Roy. I never watched the show, but now since they introduced, I'll be using it. You're not a serious person. So
shout out to Jake Lattimore though. That's my guy.
yeah, I like
the
him.
acting and the singing. Okay, and he's definitely
hair curl.
growing up very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fine. But anywho, the beard is doing wonders.
It's working for him, huh? Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
Well, it's now time.
Again, if you're a YouTube watcher, you see the light is on. It is time for the Flash with Ash. So I got a couple of fun facts and then some trivia for you today. Since our movie came out in 1999, first fun fact I have is the top 5 movies of 1999. So coming in at number 5 was The Matrix. Number 4, Toy Story 2. Number 3, Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. Number 2, The Sixth Sense. And number 1, Star Wars. Star Wars be at the top of everybody's list, don't it?
1999 was a good movie year.
Those are some heavy hitters.
Yeah, I thought so too. The Matrix, man, I ain't seen that.
Hey, don't worry.
I have.
Don't worry.
Jada out there.
I ain't gonna say much. Yeah, she in the second one.
Second, right? Okay.
But don't worry. So, yeah. You don't worry your little head.
Okay. And another fact, the sexiest man alive in 1999 was Richard Gere. And he's the guy from Pretty Woman. And really? Like Mia, we do have a male co-host, so let me throw in the sexiest woman alive as well for that year, which was Sarah Michelle Gellar, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
She's not bad. I'm not mad at it. I mean, 90. Well, I guess I would have to see some who was in the running.
She, J-Lo was in there, probably like number 2 or something, I think. But
yeah, bugging. Yeah.
She was married to Freddie Prinze Jr. though. She's all that. Like I didn't even know that. I like Freddie.
Yeah.
They've been married for like 20 years.
Too.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a couple fun facts. I was like, okay, we got.
What y'all think about Richard Gere though?
I think he's handsome.
For 1999, I see it. I could see where they would pull that from. Out of the people that they were probably surveying, it tracks. Wouldn't have been my choice, but
I mean, the picture they got. I don't know if y'all see it on People Magazine, the People Weekly. If you just type it in, like the sexiest man alive, they got 1999 Richard Gere.
Yeah, I have a thing like
Yeah,
I don't like a naked face. That's just me in any race. Like I like facial hair.
even a white guy, you don't feel like it's not like a different kind of scale.
I think it is, but for Richard, I mean, I think his eyes. It's something in his eyes. Like he has those little like squinty, smoky.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I too love facial hair. I am not a fan of the bare face either. You got to have a real special face to pull off the bare face.
What about Channing Tatum?
I think Channing, he pulls it off. He's a little older now, but I like a little 5 o'clock, a little scruff on the like Chad Michael Murray. You know, he always keep a little. I like that
Man,
type.
I'm trying to think of another guy like in
And
that
while we're
realm.
on, I feel like LL Cool J has pulled off the bare face really well.
Okay.
What did
LL
he do that
definitely.
in? I'm trying to think. I mean, he can, yeah, because
This movie, didn't he? He did in this movie that we're gonna do. He
had a little
He-
something. Hold on.
he had a little. I think he had some chin hairs. I think he had a little bit of chin
Yeah.
strap going. Yeah, LL.
But a
can pull it
Deliverance
off.
from Evil, he definitely had though, didn't? Or no, he had the chin strap, right? Maybe.
Now I'm looking at
I think
him.
he had a mustache at least. Yeah, at least a
Okay, what
stash.
mustache? Okay,
He had
so
a
at least a stash. Like,
At least.
I'm
But,
gonna throw this in the chat with Richard Gere just to see what y'all
Okay.
think. It's got a little scruff. I just want to see what y'all thinking.
I love a scruff. I'm
I threw
just
that in.
keeping it a beat.
It's a magazine from I don't even know this magazine, but it's
better.
better. That work for you a little bit.
Let me see.
It's better.
It's better. Okay.
Yeah, you see, it just gives you a little, he got the nice hair going on. And,
Yeah. He giving Zaddy
You know.
vibes for y'all.
Granddaddy.
no.
Granddad. Oh.
Right. We got the
He a
gray.
little outside of the rail with Zaddy. Huh? Hey, Mama C, what you think about Richard Gere?
Now, oh Lord.
Yeah, see what Mama C think about
I'll
him.
have
I like his
her
eyes.
thoughts for you in the group chat.
You say what? Oh,
I'll
yeah,
put
yeah.
her thoughts in the group chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like his eyes. And I can see me running my hands, like pushing his hair back.
He's a good looking dude. Like I'm not mad at it. Like it ain't like, oh, where did you like? There's probably been some. It's like, okay, y'all reaching really, but like I'm not mad at it. And who was the sexiest woman alive? What was her name?
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Sarah Michelle. Okay. Keep going. I'm just trying to get a little.
Next
cute.
up is
She's cute.
Next up is the trivia. So, first one is from Saved by the Bell.
Uh-oh.
Out of the main girls, Lisa, Jessie, and Kelly, who did Zach Morris not kiss?
And what were their names again?
Lisa, she was the black chick. Of
Mhm.
course, Kelly and Jessie.
I'm going Jessie.
I would not know.
Then again,
I did not watch Saved by the Bell. I like that.
Okay.
But then again, Slater would. I mean, I feel like that'd have been a storyline where Slater would have like got him together. Like, bro, you kissing my girl, Jet. But then it felt like he would kiss. He would have kissed. Dang, it's Jesse or Lisa. Obviously, Kelly was his girl at one point. I got to stand on something.
I'm gonna say Jesse just because that's what he said first, and now he's unsure. So now I
Okay.
have to
Give
be.
y'all
You making me
fighting
second
chance.
guess. Oh my god, I don't even know. I'm gonna go Lisa for politics
See.
back in the day.
Okay. Those are not correct. He has kissed them all.
Oh, girl.
Oh, dang!
Kissed them
Trick
all.
question.
I know you almost was there because you was like, Jesse. Hey, there kind of been a moment where he probably AC came through like, yo.
Yeah.
But probably Lisa, you wasn't sure. Like,
Because politics back in the day, you know
mhm.
how they were.
Mhm. Yeah,
Y'all
he kissed them
listeners
all.
know where we get that. You know
All
what?
right.
I feel like I've seen something that said that too. Dang, man, I'm mad I didn't get that. Okay,
Yeah, Zach was, he was out here, man.
who's that dude? He's no Brandon Walsh, but you know.
All right, this is from Steve Harvey show, y'all. All right, taking it back.
Okay.
During the second season of Steve Harvey, a new character, Levita Jenkins, came on board at the school as the new administrative assistant. Which of the following statements about Levita is false?
Okay.
Levita had relatives named after products, Duracell, for example. Levita was divorced. Levita was a great cook. Levita fell in love with Cedric. Which one is false?
Levita was a great cook. That's what I'm going with.
I agree.
That is correct. She was a terrible cook.
Yeah.
She was always burning the house down.
She couldn't cook.
That feels right on par, like for her character. Yeah.
Levita Alizé Jenkins.
Jenkins, yeah.
That name is crazy.
From Willacoochee, Georgia. No.
Hey. All right, final question for y'all today. And this is from Good Times.
Oh.
At the beginning of season 4, Florida's husband, James, died and was no longer part of the show. How did he die? He was shot in a bank robbery. He drowned in a swimming pool. He was hit by a bus. He was killed in a car accident.
I'm going, he was killed in a car accident.
I have to agree because I feel like I remember that episode fairly well.
Okay.
It was either a car accident or he was hit by a bus, but I'm gonna say car accident.
That is correct.
Whew, all right.
And I didn't remember when I found this. I'm like, man, I always couldn't remember how he died. I was mad about it. I remember that.
Oh, we were
devastated.
Mad. Imagine how they were mad that grew up on this.
I was devastated.
Yeah, that was dirtball. Did they try to bring him back?
I don't think so.
Listen,
and that is it for the Flash with Ash today, guys.
Hey man, this is so fun. Like it never gets old, man. Anybody that comes on as a guest, I know they're waiting to get grilled by Ash. You know what I mean? I was just glad I'm glad she had put the stamp on us. Don't make me look bad because I feel like the pressure is really on. She put the stamp. The t-shirt's coming soon. That need to be a t-shirt. Soon. Don't make me look bad.
And then on the back, I made you look bad.
Right. All right. Well, Mia G, you know what time it is. Take us back one time for the one time.
Okay, let's do it. Today we are talking about my pick, 1999 Deep Blue Sea. Synopsis: searching for a cure to Alzheimer's disease, a group of scientists on an isolated research facility become the prey as a trio of intelligent sharks fight back. I probably wouldn't have described it that way, but that's what they said, so we're going to go with that. For cast, we have Thomas Jane as Carter Blake, Saffron Burrows as Dr. Susan McAllister, Samuel L. Jackson as Russell Franklin, Jacqueline McKenzie as Janice Higgins, the problematic Michael Rappaport as Tom Scoggins, Stellan Skarsgård as Jim Whitlock, the LL Cool J as Sherman Preacher Dudley, and Ada Turturro as Brenda Kearns. This film was released July 28th, 1999, and no toys.
All right.
I got a question, Mia. The girl that they were calling Susan, isn't that Brenda?
No, Brenda was the curly-haired lady who worked in the tower, who was like making all the announcements about.
Oh, okay.
Very small role, but she was,
Shout out to my Soprano fan. She plays Tony's sister, Janice Soprano. Mm-hmm. Go check out Good Earners. All right, that's all I have to say. As soon as I seen it, I was like, bro, I cannot unsee her as Janice on there. I gotta go check that show out. But anyway, okay, well, yeah. So we're gonna have a little bit of an overall discussion, but before we get there, let's do a little bit of a rewind, remembering the film back then. And this is kind of based on like how we remember it. It's not so much our first experience, but just remembering the lure around films. That's the thing about what we do here is it's just remembering the idea of it, like how it resonated when you bring up a film, what do you think about and how you remember it when you were younger, when you first seen it, somewhere around there? So I'm gonna throw it in Mia's court first, since you brought this movie to the forefront. How do you remember this film back then? As we rewind.
So 99, I remember seeing it on DVD because, DVDs were somewhat new at that point. DVDs came like end of 1997. So at this point, we all had like the dual VHS DVD situation going on. And I remember my mom buying this, and I was like obsessed for a little while. I have always been a horror film girl, but when I was younger, before I was like super into the real deal horror movies, I kind of dabbled with like shark movies, disaster movies, and stuff like Jurassic Park. Like,
This is your gateway.
yeah, it was my gateway. This movie was just so good. Like, I loved it. It was so exciting. And now looking back, I'm like, okay, it's not a movie that I ever had to like really delve into and pay a ton of attention to, but it was always just like entertaining. And of course, my mom being the hugest LL Cool J fan, she got it ASAP, and we used to watch it together all the time. And it was one that I would always just put on if I just wanted something to watch.
Okay, I like it. Ash, what about you? How do you remember this film back then?
It's kind of fuzzy. I was trying to see. I feel like maybe Auntie Mickey had this on DVD.
Shout out to
That was
Auntie
our
Mickey.
auntie
She
that
was
we
such
mentioned.
Yeah.
She used to sneak and watch, watch all the. Our grandmother was really into church, so we would go in her room and watch all the little DVDs and stuff. Listen to hip hop and all that on volume 3. In the room on the sneak, but
radio.
So I feel like maybe right. I feel like I saw this on DVD, and I feel like maybe it was from her. Either way, when I did watch it, for some reason I thought LL and Samuel were in 2 different water movies. Like I always remember Samuel being in this one, but I always forget about LL in this. So I don't know, but that's always I'm like, oh, they're both in the same movie. But I just remember being probably terrified. Knowing that I would be scared watching it, but still wanting to watch it for some reason, like kind of wanting to be scared. Yeah, I just remember people getting toe up in there. So pretty much.
Yeah.
And Samuel Jackson, he stands out to me the most when I think about it.
Yeah, he definitely.
Epic.
Wait for y'all that are watching on YouTube. You're gonna see something. When you see the skin that I have for this episode, it's immediately gonna make you laugh. So y'all don't even know yet until y'all see it. When y'all see it, I'm like, oh, you're wild. For me, just remembering this film, you remember it kind of differently. You remember like this is like kind of a survival film, and like who's gonna make it at the end of it, and just hearing the title, I always in my mind held this up highly. Like you do have your Titanics of the world at that time. You do have your Anacondas of the world at that time, and then you got Deep Blue Sea. And in my mind back then, I remembered it like Deep Blue Sea was like something to be reckoned with. I remember it like it's just a title that sticks with you, and it works well in that sense. Of course, how I watched it, I don't really remember. I don't think it was a theater thing though. I was 9 years old, so I definitely know it wasn't like, hey, let's take the kids to the theater to watch Deep Blue Sea. But yeah, I remembered like just like, yo, this is why we don't go out to the water. This is why you don't, I remember thinking something along those lines. And then of course I always remember the Samuel L. Jackson scene. That's kind of what I remember as far as that goes. But that's just, and then LL Cool J, like my bird, like that's kind of the thing. You ate my bird. I think I always used to twist this with my mama bird with Martin. Like I think I remember it was something like the twisting them two together, kind of like in my memory or something like that. I'm like, who said it? Like, but now I realize both of them said a different version of it. So that's kind of like my rewind and remembering of, this film back then, just loosely. So overall discussion, the first thing I want to get into. All right. This is gonna be an interesting episode. So don't strap on your seatbelts. Mia, you about to be on the hot seat. I'm not gonna ask you to reveal what was the alternative film. I'm not gonna ask you to do that because that may come back up.
It will, for sure.
Okay. So what pushed this one over the edge for that one? Over that one. I don't know if you said it at the end of the last episode or not. I can't recall.
Okay, so a few things. The other one I know for a fact that we will cover at some point. Like I just know it because of like the genre, the importance of it. Like it was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, this is like dealer's choice. I know we may not have necessarily another opportunity for this film, but I really want to talk about it. And I just decided to give this one a little boost because I knew that the other one would come back around more than likely before this one did.
Okay, so it's more of like the other one's like a layup, like it's in there already. It's just a matter of time.
That one, yeah.
This one's like kind of like I don't know when this will come back up, kind of thing.
Right. It was kind of like, a little bit more obscure than the other one.
Okay.
And since you both kind of picked movies that weren't like, because the other one is kind of like a mainstream children's movie from our childhood. And I was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Balance it out. A little more on the grown-up side.
Yeah.
That's what put me kind of in the tricky part of, eventually we'll reveal what's our next film. That puts me in the tricky part because Ash chose that, which it is mainstream, but it's like, then again, you ain't heard of it. And I look at you as like a real film buff as well as your mom. And so it's an interesting thing as far as that goes, but it's Burt Reynolds. And then we get more on the grown-up side. So that puts me in a tricky spot to find where's the middle ground between where y'all put it. You know what I mean? It's always going, which is fun for me actually. So the first question I got outside of that is, does this film feel like the ocean version of Jurassic Park? Even casting Samuel Jackson in both films.
Well, Sam Jackson has been in everything.
That's true. That's true.
But I don't see it quite the same. I never thought about it that way. I guess I could see where you would get that, like genetically modifying these animals and it backfires on you. Mm-hmm. I could see the similarities.
What did they call that place? It was a name for the place.
Aquatica.
Yeah. So that's part of it too. But anyway, go ahead.
The only reason I would say no is because this is more of like a medical research facility type of situation. And that was like, oh, we're doing this for fun. This is going to be, we're going to bring kids and they're going to have a great time. But in a way, yeah, I can see it.
What about you, Ash? Did you pick that up or that wasn't?
I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even make that connection, but you guys bring up great points, with the animal modification but like with this one being about, trying to get a cure for Alzheimer's and stuff. So a little deeper, like Mia said. But yeah, I didn't make the connection just watching it. So that was a good point.
Yeah, I go ahead, Mia.
I was going to say I saw a lot of similarities actually watching it to Poseidon. I was like, oh,
That's funny you mentioned that. It's very funny you mentioned that.
That brings me to my next clip.
Yeah, you helping me drive this boat. But I'll say, I immediately kind of felt, I think Jurassic Park's 96 maybe. I felt that immediately kind of similarity. Of course, the Sam Jackson connection, he's been everything, but I felt the similarity again, like you said, it's a little different because they're just trying to bring dinosaurs back for the sake of a theme park versus this is trying to cure something for humanity. But it still felt like the animals, the creatures working against you when humans get involved, So it did give me reminiscent of that. Not as good, obviously, but definitely that. But next, it's funny you bring up Poseidon because I wanted to ask this. I thought about Ash's Court first. Did you have a hard time watching this after we watched Poseidon? As far as like your lenses, that's 99. This one is Poseidon's 2006.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously there's a lot more years of special effects, a lot more years of storytelling and continuity. Did you have a hard time, or was it an easy time, or what was the time like when you compared one water movie to the next as far as your experience trying to like follow these characters and buy into it?
It was tough for me. I feel like this one was a harder watch as far as connecting with the characters. Poseidon was more realistic. Like I said, when I watched Deep Blue Sea back then as a kid, you didn't pay attention to all the, you know, the unrealistic scenes and things like that. It's just like, oh, you know, you get ate by sharks.
Yeah.
But now with my grown up lens, it just, some of the things I was seeing was just like, come on, man. Like, come on, bro. There's no way. And it was a lot of slow motion effects in this movie to kind of mask the fakeness of it to me. Like, yeah, you put this in slow motion because if this was regular speed, you people would be out of here. But yeah, it was definitely, I instantly got Poseidon right away, you know. Watching this with all the water. I had Carter's Dylan 2.0, you know, being the main guy. And so yeah, definitely compared for sure. It was,
or I guess Dylan is Carter 2.0.
Oh yeah, that's true because that came out first. But
I get what you're saying.
Carter's no Dylan, but he's definitely
he's no Dylan, but he's that dude.
But he's good. He's good. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Mia?
So here's what I'll say. It having to watch a film for a podcast is so vastly different than watching it for fun, because I have always loved this movie, and don't get me wrong, I still do. But watching this movie and having to take notes was so hard. Like, I was watching and I'm just, okay. Let me rewind that. Okay. Pause. Rewind again. Oh, okay. So from just I'm just gonna throw this on and be entertained and just mindlessly watch it while I'm in my phone or making some food or eating snacks. Or as a kid, completely different. Watching it and staring at the screen and taking notes and realizing the difference in like special effects now and just continuity, just the whole thing. I was like, ooh, this might not be a good movie.
Well, I found myself drifting. Like, I was like, I gotta come back.
Keep going, Mia. Is that all you had to say, or what?
Sorry, guys. This may not have been a great. Well, we're here now.
We're here now. Like this is what we do it for. Yeah, this is what we do it for. I mean, you know. But anyway, go ahead.
It was torture. It was torture.
Oh, torture! Wow, that is a different.
I never want to have to analyze this movie ever again.
Oh man,
I like it to watch, but breaking down scenes for this, I was like, oh my goodness. Okay. Water washing them away. Shark kind of busted the door. Oh my goodness. What are we even talking about?
Wow. This is coming from Mia G, the one who brought the movie there. I appreciate your honesty and vulnerability in this moment. For me as well, it makes me wonder what this experience would have been like if we seen this before Poseidon. That's the thing that I thought, because as much as Poseidon is, I don't know, it was received well. I don't really hear people talk about it as much. Like that, I feel like Titanic is talked about more than the Poseidon given, but But with the way we reviewed it and the way we were into it, it's one of my favorite ones that we've done, and it felt realistic. It didn't really feel uh it felt very grounded in the reality of what this thing could be, and we felt the pressures in real time. And then seeing this movie, it kind of made it a little more challenging because I feel like if we seen this first before the other, I feel like we would have a different lens. And that's where I found, I was like, dang, getting notes for this, I said this movie's gonna suffer because it comes behind Poseidon. And and even then, I think if this movie came further down, it may have benefited more because now Poseidon's kind of, no pun intended, but washed away from our memory. For now, we can get a refresh our palette to kind of come into this movie with a different kind of idea. But I think being so close to Poseidon, it kind of, for me, it hurt the viewing of it a little bit. And then also, like you said, I realized like I enjoyed this movie back then, but this experience, it came through, and I realized it's like, okay, this is not a good movie. And there's like evidences that showcase why, and not comparing it to Poseidon or Anaconda, Jurassic Park, or not even comparing. It's just certain moments where it's like, okay, that was just for nothing. You know what I mean? But I mean, it challenges too, because we spoke. I'm not going to say the film, but we spoke about other films that came out in '99, and we see better special effects, and we also see futuristic vibes coming into the 2000s. I mean, obviously this is the Y2K era. Yes.
And while I was doing my notes, this movie had a decent budget. It was some millions put behind. I feel like the effects should have been better. And don't get me wrong, because I still do enjoy this movie. I enjoyed it. I just didn't enjoy having to break it down to scenes and really kind of like analyze it. I would enjoy it. I'm sure I'll still throw it on and enjoy it. So there are a lot of things about it that I still really like, that I think were done well. It's just overall, as far as how it holds up to certain other movies and what I feel like the heart of the movie, I don't feel like it had as much heart as I remember.
There it is. And here's the thing about podcasting, doing this, what we do at Childish Grownups. It forces you, you know how you can remember a memory and you have a fond way of remembering it. And sometimes you're not invested in necessarily other people that were there that are telling it with you, because you like to remember it the way you remember it. The thing about when we do this and podcasts and actually have to create bullet points and notes, it forces you to lock in on, is this good or not, or do you enjoy this or not? That's the thing about it, because Preacher's Wife is the same thing. Like, bro, I love this movie as a kid, but when we have to get into this, our notes, it's like, dang, now that I'm looking at it, okay, I enjoy it, but it doesn't give me the fondest feeling that I'm looking for in the Christmas spirit. And so that's what makes this fun and interesting, is it makes you, it puts your feet to the fire, in the sense that, okay, if you like it, then based on these notes and going through, it should track. You know what I mean? Not to say it's not good, but some films that all of us, any of us, like Goofy movie too, some movies you'd be like, okay, this is great for daycare, or this is great for TV movies. Not sense that it was created for TV, but these worked in the sense that I'm enjoying it. There's a commercial. Let me go get me some Dorito 3Ds. You know what I mean? And come back. It's back on. You know what I mean? Yeah, 3Ds. You know what I'm saying? So all that, let me get a push pop or whatever it is, a ring pop. So yeah. So it's just one of those things. So that's why I like doing this, because it makes it fun. And like, even then, I'm sure we're all gonna have this. I already had this experience, but like, we're all gonna have a movie like you watch it, and even I'll come to him like, dang, I thought this was better when I was in my mind. When we come back to it, it's like, okay, now I'm seeing it. So, I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate your honesty in regards to your perspective in watching it. So, Is there anything else y'all want to bring to the forefront in our overall discussion before we get into our moments? That was all that.
Nothing here. Oh, well, you said 3D Doritos. It just makes me think. My mom bought us like, was it 2 bags or 1?
Don't. Oh my God.
We had a
No.
bag of 3D Doritos when they first came out. Mom bought us a
Oh.
bag. She was at work. Me and bro ate the whole bag. She came home.
We
She's like,
did it
y'all
as a
did not.
challenge.
Oh, we just.
We was like, hey, I think it was my idea. I'm sorry. We did. I
They
said
were
Ash,
so good though. We were so intrigued
but
with
we
how
were
they
like,
did that.
they had like 2 flavors, nacho and like jalapeno, and we was like, let's see if we can eat the whole bag. Like, well, I didn't. And now looking at it, I'm like, bro, this is a single mom, and you just got groceries, and you got the family size joint, and we ate it like it's a challenge. Like, we was
Yeah.
like, hey, let's see if we can eat them all. Sorry, mom.
Hey, sorry, mom.
That lives rent free in my head still.
Sorry to your mom as well on your behalf.
They were so good though. Like
They were good, but like we were sitting there, like we knew we were full, and we was like, almost done.
Kept eating.
like, oh come on, we got to finish it. Like I don't know what we was on. We was but okay. Mia G, I'm gonna throw the ball in your court. Let's get into our moments. That was all that. So,
Okay.
Mia G, what you got?
So of course you have to do the opening. I feel like that's just a given.
Yeah, that's a given.
And in true monster movie fashion, you see a bunch of random young people on a boat. And they have nothing to do with the story. They're just, the random young, attractive people who are having a good time to introduce us to our main character, Carter. And the first thing I'll say is that shark busting up through the bottom of that boat was ridiculous. Like, that is a ridiculous thing to have happen because that is not going to ever happen. Not even with the genetically modified shark. Like, what did they make this boat out of? Like popsicle sticks? What is going on?
I was
What
like,
did they make this boat out of? It's funny. It's like, why is that the target for, like, what are you smelling? Nobody's bleeding on this boat.
Right. And I felt like that was a continuity problem too, because they dropped the bottle of wine in the water and it looks like blood, but it wouldn't smell like blood to a shark. So it's like, what attracted this shark here? Because what's going on?
Right.
But anyway, it introduces us to Carter, who, Water Daddy, who has his, he comes and saves the day. And, he realizes that a shark has escaped from the facility, which gets us into our main conflict. And so the introduction of Carter.
Do you like who you like better, Carter or Dylan?
That's tough.
You saying character, physically, like what do we?
Okay, character, and then I guess the like, I guess since she get the hair curl on both of them, which one like on a attraction level?
I think that Dylan was a better character, and he's finer. But I like Carter. Carter had there was something, I feel like they should have leaned more into his backstory a little bit.
Yep.
Like, we get a little bit of it, but we don't see like how it brought him there, how it we know why Dylan was on the cruise ship, and how it motivated his character kind of in this like loner way, but we didn't really get too much. Carter is just the water guy. So, okay, we trust you. You know how to swim. You help us.
Help us, yeah. Okay. I'm quite a ways down on my moments, so I just want to check in with you, Ash. Where are you in your moments with all that? So I won't assume anything.
I had the opening scene that Mia had, but she pretty much covered everything. I was just like, why is this shark like drawn to this wooden boat? Like, why is he breaking through? That it makes sense to me. Um, Other than that, the next scene I had was Carter going down to shoot the shark. Um, are you further than that, or?
I'm
And I don't.
I'm all the way down to when Preach talks to Franklin. So
Preach talks to
Oh, okay. I
Frank.
know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, when they were like everything was still chill at that point. So, well, Mia, what do you have? What's your next
Yeah, Mia
I
moment?
might be.
have the next thing I had was wasn't even at Aquatica. It was being introduced to Susan and her meeting with Franklin and the other guy who I suppose was like a board member or a lawyer, and her talking about her Alzheimer's research and her seeing her motivations for why she was so passionate about
Mm-hmm.
the Alzheimer's research. And he's basically like, this is my company, this is my money. And she's like, we have problems with the research, but it's really important. And he's gonna come see the facility. And now she's like, oh shit. So I have to get all this together to show him how important this is. And then I had like just like that whole first little scene in Aquatica when he first gets there
Mm-hmm.
and how he meets everybody and how everybody's kind of introduced.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, I did really like Samuel in this, for the record.
You say you did or you
I
didn't?
did. I mean, I like him in everything, really. Honestly, it's not really a movie that I don't like Samuel in. I think he's a
I
very
agree.
great character actor. So,
Absolutely.
um, and where'd you say you were, Ash?
So I'm where Carter is down there. They're all on the computer, got him on the screen where he goes down there to try to
Oh,
shoot
this
one
is
of the
this
sharks.
is where it's about to hit the fan.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You got something before that, Mia?
Just the introduction of all the characters.
Okay. I think mine might be before because
Yours is within that same scene that I'm talking about because
Okay.
Preach is introduced to Franklin and they have that whole,
So LL, which is Preach, he tells Franklin about himself. He's just getting caught in the avalanche, and I'm paraphrasing, but he's just like, bro, there's so many ways out there that they're trying to kill us black people. Getting killed by climbing up, a mountain and an avalanche hitting you is like it's stupid, nigga. Excuse my language, but like, hey, look, that's what he was saying. I'll translate for y'all. So that's
No,
what it is. And it was funny though to me. I love that they had like a real,
It was a real
black
movie.
black man experience right there. Like, listen to me, bro. What are you doing?
Right.
So and then that plays out later in a monologue from Franklin. So I like that scene. I didn't remember that, but I'm glad that the two characters connected. And I mean, I really love the work that LL put in. I'll speak more to that as we get further into the thing. But yeah, I like that interaction. It was a real interaction. It felt like, I'm not gonna say improv, but it felt like somebody went back to the writer and said, "Hey, it would work better if it was said like this." That's how it feels to me. Because I don't know who wrote it, but I don't think it was a black person necessarily. But I feel like that would have been one of those things where somebody went back and said, "Hey, look, if we're gonna make this connection between these two guys, this is what sounds more realistic." And I do wish they would have capitalized a little bit more on it. That's probably just a little bit of my black perspective being a black man. But I think that there was something golden there that it could have been interesting. But it didn't happen that way. So do you have anything before Ash has I'm about to say Dylan, my goodness.
Yeah, I want to just piggyback off of that because that was actually one of my favorite parts of that whole opening sequence because you meet everybody and you find out what they do and what role they play. But Sam Jackson is there basically to either approve or shut them down. And he's trying to connect with Preacher on like a brother to brother, type of thing. He's like, the food was good, my brother. And then I keep wanting to call him LL. Preach comes back and he's like, telling him like, and he like mocks him, my brother, kind of like, I'm not on your side. We're not the same type of brother.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and this is my job. You're trying to shut us down. And I'm really like, these are my people, and we're not here. And it was kind of a real moment. Like
Yeah.
you said, it played out the way you would think it would play out.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
it is a shame that they didn't have more interaction
Mm-hmm.
in the movie, but I feel, oh, Preacher is my favorite character in the whole film. He
Yeah.
carried
Yeah.
Mhm.
even his charisma and a
Yeah.
lot of his scenes being alone, like he
Mhm.
really carried
He
his.
really
Yeah.
did, though.
Absolutely.
I feel like they rewrote it because they realized that. I feel like he wasn't meant to necessarily make it to the end, or at least make it to the end, and they put like a real heavy focus on it, emphasis on it. But I think once they knew they were gonna get rid of Samuel, I think that they knew it's like, okay, every time we look at our edits with him, he's selling it so well with special effects that it would work better if we did it this way. Again, I don't have no evidence. I could be incorrect. Any writers, anybody involved, yeah, welcome to write in, to let us know what it is, set us straight. But that's the way it feels. I feel like they knew it's like, oh, he's a star. He has it. We're not looking at a rapper right now. We're looking at a real actor, and he's carrying it. So I'm
Mhm.
with you on that, Mia.
Yeah, LL's acting chops are
It's
really good.
it's
Like
underrated, really.
he's a good actor.
Yeah.
Um, and just him looking the way that he looks and actually putting that to the side
Yeah.
and honing in on the scripts. You know what I mean? Like I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
Oh, LL.
He
But
was
anywho,
he was so fine in this movie.
yeah, those dimples are so deep, and I mean we all know about the lips. But anyway, stay focused.
You silly.
Um,
Stay focused.
no, but really, like, it's really ridiculous to think that we as Black people would not be at the end anyway. Like, of course, we know there's a plethora of movies like this that we don't survive, which is
Mhm.
crazy to me
Yeah.
because our instincts and just our natural abilities, it's not right. But so yeah, the scene I got is this is where it gets confusing for me. Where Carter goes down there, he tries to shoot one of the sharks, and then Russell Franklin, is that Samuel?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Russell Franklin, but
Oh,
Franklin.
okay. They always call somebody by their last name, but all right. So Franklin is like, they recognize that gun, and then they lose the footage, and then somehow Carter is still able to get the shot off, and then they bring up one of the sharks. Okay, so the point of him going down there to shoot them, so they've already been tested on. Is that's what this at this point?
Mhm.
Like they've already done tests and made their brains larger, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Cause that's where it gets fuzzy for me because I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But so yeah, because I'm like, what's going on, man? All right, so yeah, I got that, and then the next scene, I got them running the test on the shark. And Carter's like she's sleeping like a baby. And then Susan, she gets all her gear together to get it poked, and then it pops up. And then she's chill again, and then yeah, it's about to get crazy.
Man, ridiculous.
She pulls out the syringe, and they run the test and bottle it up and everything, and then dude's about to smoke a cigarette, and he kneels down talking about, "You did good, pal." Hey, Shark like, "Oh, I did good. All right, I
Oh
got
yeah.
something for your ass."
That was
What?
crazy.
Hey, bit that arm off, and
I ain't cutting off my leg.
soul food action. Ripped the
So
arm off out the socket completely.
clean off.
And they hit us
Unconsented
with the slow
surgery.
motion. Yeah. They hit us with the slow motion effects. And I'm going into the helicopter scene.
Okay, Mia, you around that, or what you
Yeah, so I had again, it was really hard to take notes on this, but because it was just so much going on.
Mhm.
But I did have that. I had you know, the scene where the shark bites off um, Jen's arm and how Carter went to shoot the shark and
Oh
Susan
yeah.
he was like, no. And she dropped the shark back in the water. He's like, are you insane? Like, what the are you doing? And you can see that scene. I hate it because
Right.
her face when she hits the button to drop the shark back in the water, she's all, it just drives me crazy because I can't sit.
Go
We'll
ahead.
get
No, no.
there.
Oh, okay. I about to
That
say,
had
go
me
give it.
hot.
Hey, I
But
mean,
you
give it
can
to him.
see,
Give it to him because I don't want
like,
you to forget,
what are
man.
you
You
doing?
there.
This shark just bit off somebody's arm. We got
Hmm.
to put it down. But,
Facts.
Period.
you know,
Mm.
now we're descending into chaos.
Yeah, you're still thinking for the greater good. Like, all right, yeah, I'll let him marinate. So yeah, I'm still a little further down. I got like, when Franklin figures out that the sharks are after them, and uh, the girl calls the doctor. Yeah, this is. I think at this point, where I'm at is, I think after the shark does this thing on the the guy that lost his arm. I think I'm past that point, where she going off on the doctor or whatever. So you say you know, uh, you had something before that, Ash.
Yeah. The helicopter scene, I did like that. I mean, you got the wind, the water. I mean, that was crazy though.
Yeah, it was.
So that was insane. They run out there, they hook up old dude, helicopter trying to reel him up. I mean, he's swaying and swinging, and it's windy and raining, and
Sad way to go.
yeah, that's terrible. He got all the gear on,
I
ready
felt
to
so bad though. I did feel bad about that.
try to get help, and then the rope gets stuck. Yeah, and then it starts to reverse.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Mia when she doing the rewind, okay? The rope the rope started to reverse,
Mm-hmm.
and now my boy is dropping. And the crazy thing, like I said, with these sharks' mind, like, okay, he drops in. It's like the sharks they want you to see how everyone dies. I've been noticing that trend in this movie. So like the fact that, yeah, they could have just ate him, tow him up. You know what I mean? They gonna stick him to the glass so y'all can see this man.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
then
they did that on purpose because they wanted
exactly.
glass. They're trying to
Yeah.
the
But I was
shark.
just like, yeah. That's why I'm like, but I was noticing that as everybody was dying, like the way they were dying,
The,
the
because
intentionality of the sharks to just be like,
because
yeah,
the
okay.
team was happy to have these special effects. Like, oh, what would be really cool, and
Yeah,
they
it was
just
stupid.
wanted to emphasize because the budget was there. As Mia spoke, it's like y'all wanted to show, like, oh, look at this. This would be even great if they got to see it this way. And they did. You're right, Ash. They did that the whole film, and it's like
Mhm.
you
It
really
wasn't even
don't.
realistic.
You don't. It wasn't real. It worked against them, and it becomes ridiculous because I don't care what you inject these sharks. We don't believe you. We that's the problem. Like Jurassic Park, once you get these dinosaurs and you get the bug and it kept the DNA all these years, we believe the fact that like these dinosaurs are not like necessarily geniuses, but we believe they catch you, they see you, they smell you, they got you. We
Mhm.
believe it. Here it's like y'all are stretching so far to just be like, oh, they got revenge on their brain because you injected them. Knock it off, bro. Knock it off. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry. Like we don't believe it. Like they bumping through like a shark hitting a metal wall. It's gonna hurt, and a shark is not gonna want nothing to do with that. They're not sniffing, smelling blood through a damn metal door, bro. Like it's just stop playing with us, our intelligence, bro. But anyway, I don't want to get on my rant here. But yeah, it's just come on, bro. Like it's ridiculous. Come on, knock it off. What you got, me, G man?
Well, I don't even know where we are.
I don't know where we are.
Well, I just said the helicopter scene, and
The
then
helicopter, yeah.
No. So, um, that happens. The shark throws the little gurney at the window, and they're like, oh shit. So now everybody's trying to run and get out of the room because it's about to flood.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I have is they're finding out why. Susan revealing that she violated the Harvard Compact or whatever it was about genetically modifying the sharks in order to harvest whatever protein from their brain she needs for her research. And everybody's looking at her like, you must be out of your mind. Like, are you crazy? Why would you do that? So you've taken this already deadly predator and you've enlarged the size of their brain.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're thinking, which they did OD, like now they're thinking basically like a human.
Yeah.
Thinking with revenge, like you said, they're trying to kill us all.
Mm-hmm.
Not just trying to escape, but trying to kill us actively, which is insane. But basically, the point of the scene, everyone knows why this is happening. And you see, she doesn't get it. Like, it's not clicking for her. All she cares about is like, no, but Alzheimer's. And they're like, but these are sharks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You could die. We're dying.
We're stuck in this underwater facility, and these sharks are trying to flood it, and we can't breathe underwater. What are we supposed to do? So I had, and now we're trying to find an escape plan, which again was so much like Poseidon. The whole escape situation was so, and of course this came first. So I'm thinking maybe
that's what makes it hard.
It's like they improved upon some things for Poseidon.
Right.
But you see how there's only so much you can do in a movie about escaping underwater, trying to get back up to dry land. And it's so hard because it feels like we've already talked about so much of this because we talked about it in Poseidon, that it's like, well, now they have to find an escape plan. And we're looking at Carter and Scoggins. I won't even say just Carter because we haven't even talked about Scoggs, Rappaport's character. And he was pretty pivotal.
Is that
Tom? Yeah, Tom Scoggins.
Oh, okay.
Scoggs, they call him.
Scoggs, okay.
And he was the most knowledgeable about the facility. Like he knew the dimensions of the gates and the ins and outs. And so between him and Carter, now they're finding an escape route. And we're just trying to get out of here. But again, when watching this movie for anything other than entertainment, it just doesn't have the heart. The heart lays completely with Samuel L. Jackson and LL Cool J in this movie.
Yep.
And I'm gonna stand on that.
Yep. Nope.
Sure.
Oh man. Okay. So for me, yeah. So it's when Franklin figures out that the sharks are after them, and the other girl calls the doctor, "You stupid bee." All I wanted to add is something about telling a brilliant person, intelligent person like that, you are a stupid bee. Like, it just really resonated for me because it's like you're so smart in this area, but you lack the relative knowledge of everyday survival. Even was it Carter? Carter tried to tell you earlier, but then he kind of like, oh, but who am I? I'm just this felon or who, whatever, water guy, whatever. So, yeah, that was my next scene. Ash.
Yeah, I'm getting right into Preach.
Okay. Yeah.
Where he's in the water and he realized the shark is after him and he dips out. Um, love how he uses instincts, even though he's terrified. So
Mhm.
just him navigating and going into survival mode. He had the quivery lip, like he was selling it. You know what I mean?
Oh
Because I'm
man.
like, yo, this is me. Like,
Well, and it's
if
cold water too. The water is
yeah,
really
it's
cold.
cold, and
Yeah.
I'm literally a shark is chasing my ass, about to bite me up. So the
Mhm.
quiver lips, he sold it very well.
Yes. Yeah.
And so yeah, so just him going into survival mode and even going into his next scene where he climbs up on the thing and his bird is down there. He's like, come on, baby. Tell me, you see daddy smile? Like he didn't want to get that smile out. Like, I
Yes.
am terrified. I'm trying to like give you some type of, like I'm okay. Come on, like
Yeah.
get your what do you say? Get your
Feathery ass.
feathery ass up it. Then of course shark come out of nowhere and eat the bird.
Mm-hmm. Easy work. That's appetizer.
Like, and then when he fell,
Oh,
I
man.
was like, bro, it's over with.
Oh, man.
Like when that fell back, I'm thinking the shark's still down there, like, oh,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
waiting on you to fall. You out of there. But
Scariest thing in the world.
exactly. He got up under there quick, shoot, pivoted, and get the booking.
Yeah.
And I don't think his next scene is after. I think after that it goes straight to Russell, right? Where he's giving his speech.
You talking about Franklin?
Yeah, Franklin.
What was it? Is his first name Russell? Or
It's Russell, but they call him Franklin.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was like, I'm trying to figure out what to call these people. But
do you got
Franklin,
anything with the LL? I got something on that LL. Well,
okay.
I'm more of like, getting to the stove. You know what I mean?
So, well, remember they had an intermission, didn't they? And
yeah, that was after.
Yeah, that's why I had that too.
Oh, you're right. No, but I guess I tied them together because I have Franklin's speech in my notes after him climbing in the oven. But maybe they come back to the oven.
Yeah, it was right after Franklin. They go back to
go back to but I got that too. Like just like you imagine the scariness of seeing the shark and just seeing that fin is like, oh my God. Especially as a black person, bro. We don't even frequent this way. Y'all that are not black listeners, y'all can imagine the terror. Like seeing that fin, like, oh my God. Like that is the scare. Like you could see a lion, a bear, anything, any animal dang near. Like you see this in the real life terror of like, hold up. I'm used to dealing with police. I'm used to dealing with racism. I'm used to dealing with everything in the world that could be an enemy of it. But you talk about an animal where there's no idea there's no predictability. Oh my God. So that look on his face, that terror, it was on point. So that's all I want to say before we get in, obviously, to, Franklin. Mia, you got anything to add to that?
When I think about the oven scene, I just have no.
Okay.
Again, LL carried his charisma on screen, the way he sold the situation and what he was going through, the shivering and the way he was talking to the bird. It was just, he was so believable.
Yep.
And again, that's the heart. Those are the moments that
there's only 3 people that's believable here. It's the 2 black guys and Carter. Everybody else, no, I don't believe anybody else. I'm sorry.
I'll say I'll say Scott.
Oh, Michael Rappaport. Okay.
He was believable.
He was too. To a degree, that accent, his New York accent, affects a little bit of my believing that you know this much. Just because it feels like your lines and script, but I don't believe you're this smart.
Now, Mo.
Because he's from New York.
That's how it feels. Not because he's from New York. I don't believe it. Like, I don't think he pulled it off enough for me. Like, I believe it to a degree, but then you're getting to numbers and I just didn't believe it. Like, because this movie, I'm trying to move through the scenes, but I listen. It's so much of this movie feels forced, bro. Like it's stuff that just feels forced. Y'all trying too hard. And once I finished the movie, I literally start laughing. Because I was like, y'all really thought y'all made a good movie. Like, y'all tried hard to make a good movie, and this is not good. And by the time y'all figured out the budget was up, y'all probably knew we should have rerouted, and this movie should have been focused around Preach. And if y'all ain't think that, then y'all should have thought that, because the movie should have been about him as the cook and focused around that, and then the ensemble around with him and figure out how he gonna get out of this joint. But anyway, I want to get on my band, on my soapbox.
So
But go ahead, Mia.
I agree with the feeling force. I don't think that, because it never bothered me that he has a round the way accent, because I know around the way people who have degrees and
Mhm.
do all types of
Mhm.
corporate and any kind of work, whatever the case may be. I
Mhm.
think it's more so just, again, I don't know if it needed an extra maybe 30 minutes on the front end. Maybe there was there was a disconnect with the characters, because I guess we didn't kind of like how I felt about Poseidon in a way.
Mhm. Yep.
Didn't spend enough time with the characters before
Mhm.
things hit the fan to
Yep.
where we're not invested
We're
in
not invested.
Mhm.
So like, yeah, they're going through all of this stuff, but we don't necessarily, like, the only person who we really know that much about is Susan and
Mhm.
her Alzheimer's research and why she cares, because her dad had Alzheimer's. But I don't like her, so I don't care. And
Exactly.
then
Exactly.
you get a little background about the avalanche. So, I feel like that was probably the most well done of all of the backstories
Yeah.
with
Yep.
it, as he had a moment where it was pivotal to his character, and like, but then he dies right after. So,
Mhm. Well, he said, but I think a lot of that is on the shoulders of Samuel Jackson.
yeah,
He
yeah.
sells it so well that they didn't have to have so much of it, but enough where he's such a believable actor when he does get involved that he sold it. You know what I mean? Like, they put the nugget earlier, and then you come back to it. Um, yeah, it's like y'all give us this main character that's a doctor, but we don't like her. She's not likable. Then y'all try to give us a heroic moment later, and it was a waste. It's just like you're on your soapbox and you pity because you did this, and now the shark eats your ass, and it's like it didn't mean anything. You didn't stop nothing. Your research didn't do anything. Your Aquatica didn't do anything, and you didn't do anything. So it's just like, what are we doing, bro? What is this?
Nothingness.
There was no payoff.
No, they're
The
like,
only
bro.
payoff, and I feel like, okay, I hate to say this, but going through the scenes, okay, so I'll go into another scene, but at the end of the day, the only payoff for this whole thing was that Preach made it out, because
Absolutely.
that was
Yeah,
it.
pretty
That
much.
was the only payoff for the whole movie. Like, I like Carter, and I'm glad
Yeah.
he made it out too, because
Yeah, me too.
he was expected to make it. But if
Yeah.
Mhm.
anybody was gonna make it with him, the only payoff is that it was Preach.
Well, hold on.
If Susan would have made it, I was finna be
Yeah,
pissed.
they did right. I don't know who came up with
I
that.
was hot.
Let's take it back a little bit, because I don't want to. I know we're gonna. I feel like we're just gonna end up having this overall discussion continually, because
Because it's so
this movie
hard.
it's not. This movie's not built for scene break. We've had Soprano episodes where some episodes are just not built on scene for scene. Like, it's not built that way. Ash, won't you lead us? I know that you actually probably have Franklin giving his speech dissertation before to get the big reveal. So go ahead and give it to her how you felt, because I know we're gonna react to it, and then I think
Okay.
after that we can kind of just
Mhm.
Yeah,
skim
just
through the rest of it at that point.
just him giving the speech. Trying to be deep and motivate, like, hey, let's work together. We're not gonna fight, but you're giving the speech around the open water where we already know
Mm-hmm.
what happened with Jim in his arm. And even Carter's like, hey, I wouldn't stand too close. Giving you the warning, like this made me so mad. Like, come on, I want to say
Franklin.
Samuel, come on, Franklin, bro. Why are you like come over here with the rest of us? Because that's where we are. Like, let's get away from the water. Clearly, the sharks' brains are got them going crazy. So you're giving this speech. Now we're gonna work together. And you can see they kept zooming into Carter's eyes. Like they kept going back to Carter, looking at Franklin, and then this dang shark just jumps out and grabs Franklin, bro, and take him down. All you see is the pool of blood, and then the homie come through, or the baby shark, and they split him with the baby shark. It's like,
OD.
yeah, that was insane. Like you get the upper half, I get the lower.
Yeah.
It made me so mad.
Samuel, he actually wanted to do this.
He suited up and everything. Like,
He said that like there was like 9 pages of script and he didn't want to do it. Like he didn't want to do the full 9 pages. He said it'd be better if they just killed me off. And it's like, yeah, but it would be better if you did. So he went back and forth with them for a while before they came up with a compromise. That's what I was kind of reading up on as we was doing this. But it was like kind of a little bit of a compromise. It's like, bro, because it's like, bro, this is not needed. It's not necessary. And I mean, at that time, obviously, we all three know that, like in '99, that was a big deal because we're sold on he's going to be the hero. He's telling you hypothermia is kicking in. Put on the fits. Let's get to it because if we're going to survive this thing, we got to be warm and live, which ties back to obviously preaching the shivering lip. And so, but then he gets killed off, which is a great thing. But I always, every time I see this thing, again, you're not serious people. Like I think right to Dave Chappelle when he does the Samuel Jackson skit where instead of Samuel Adams beer, Samuel Jackson's beer, and he's like, a shark ate me. A fucking shark ate me. That was one of my movies, Deep Blue Sea. Have you seen that movie? Like, it's just like, this is a joke, bro. It's a joke, bro. Like, my God. Anyway, Mia, go ahead. Like, because I pretty much, all my stuff is just preach. Like, that's pretty much
I
all I
would
got.
say I enjoyed this scene a lot because Sam Jackson is just a master class in delivery. Like everything about him, he's just so good.
Yes, he
You
is.
believe every word he's saying, and you're like, you're so pulled in. But then for the end of his speech, so we're not gonna fight anymore. And
you got that right.
And I do remember though, on a first watch, that scene was epic because as
Yeah,
a
of course.
kid, and because it was so unexpected, you see, like he's delivering the speech. You're like, okay, he's about to get them together. They're all gonna go out and he's gonna lead the charge because he knows how to survive dangerous situations, and then he's just gone in an instant. And I felt like that was the scariest scene as a kid. And it was just like, but it's a first watch scene. It's one of those scenes like once you know it's coming, it loses its impact a little bit. It's not, and then it becomes funny because it's like he just gave this whole speech and then he's gonna die. So love Samuel Jackson. I love Franklin as a character because again, one of the more believable performances. But it is funny now. And again, I hate that we have to have this conversation about this movie because I still do enjoy it for what it is. It's entertaining. But now it's kind of just like, oh my goodness. Like this is silly. Like even going into the next, like the scene with Preach, which I know you're about to get to. So I won't say too much until you say yours. But when we get there, there's just a moment where it's just like, what? But before that, when Janice dies and the shark has her between the legs, and I'm like, inappropriate jokes loading.
So Janice is where they were climbing up the thing, and then
this was right after Franklin died. Now they're escaping across
Oh,
the
okay.
lab, and she she drops in the water, and the shark,
Hmm.
bites her.
Dog got to eat, right?
But the fact that the shark jumped up with her, like that's what I'm saying. All of this, like, I want you to see her dying, like as I'm eating,
Your
pause, whatever you want to
special
call it.
effects are trash. All right, your special effects are trash. Like, come on, this is garbage. Y'all special effects are terrible.
I
Like,
just
bro, if
wanted
you go back to the screenshot, like I literally, y'all see the skin that we got on YouTube. You can see if you slow down the movie, you can see the stunt double come in for for Samuel L. Jackson. And dude clearly is much younger with a little mini fro just like him. Like, bro, all right, like y'all. Anyway, because
We don't preach in the oven.
yeah, go ahead.
It's on you.
Oh yeah, I mean, I liked it again. Again, LL just carried it because I'm glad they recognized and said, no, it's better if he does. He's saving the day. Because even when we get to the scene where the young lady gets eaten like that, he saved the day because without him, they're not going to get up there. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way they're going to get up there without him. But yeah, just him in the oven and like, having his banter and him talking with the Lord and like being able to say, hey, look, and again, how convenient. The shark hits the button and turns the oven on. It's like y'all
that
trying.
was the thing that I was like, so the shark knows how to turn on the oven, but a shark shouldn't even know what an oven is. So how would a shark know to turn on the oven? Even if it had a large brain, it wouldn't even know the function of this in order to know what to do. Like for the purpose of the movie, if you're watching it and you're not asking too many questions, again, this is a podcast, we're breaking it down. But so if you're just watching it, sure. But for the purposes of this podcast, why? Who wrote that?
Like, this is not Planet of the Apes, bro. Like,
You're
Planet of the Apes is
constantly just
believable.
hitting the oven, right? Like, come on, bro.
This is too much.
That should go too.
Go ahead.
You're just constantly hitting the oven. Like, come on, bro.
Like, go.
And then I don't think that even Preach, I don't think he made a big enough hole really to even get up there like that. Like my boy is a stocky guy. Like that hole was not big enough. You was getting your ass cut up with the way that that metal was bending. True. Like, come on, man. You wasn't finna just shoulder slide up in there. Like
that's true. Yeah,
that hole wasn't big enough.
Yeah, you're right.
But I'm glad he made it out.
Yeah, I got other stuff, but I don't really care. I'm gonna wait to the end. So if y'all want to elaborate on anything else, go for it. I got about maybe 2 more scenes in between that, but I don't even care to, because it's just y'all playing in my face. Go ahead.
Ash, you got anything?
I just probably my last thing is Preach leaving the recording.
Yeah, I have it too.
I like that moment of vulnerability from him. Said he, if you see this video, obviously it's over for me, and try to be the best father, husband. And then he's like, what do I want to leave? And then got straight into the omelets and the cooking. So I love that. Yeah, I mean, again, just shout out to LL, man. He's just cooking, man.
Todd Smith out here.
The heart of the movie. That scene had heart in it. Like this is who we know who he is. We know who this man is. He's a God-fearing man. He's talking to the Lord the whole time, and all of his scenes alone, he is passionate about food. His legacy he's leaving is the perfect omelet, and you believe him when he's saying it. It's just that's where they lacked with all the other characters. It's crazy because even all the other scenes he was in, like one that I had, one of the last ones I had was him talking to Skoggs before Skoggs met his untimely demise. When they were talking about Einstein's theory of relativity, and he said, get your hand on a hot stove if a second could feel like an hour, but get your hands on a hot woman in a
Great.
hour, a second.
Great.
And that was a great moment, but his delivery of it and his interaction with Skoggs, like, because Skoggs, he has some funny, like when he goes in there, he's
I like Skoggs for the record though. Like I like him.
Yeah, he was an interesting, funny character. Like he's like, Janice was a healthy girl. Something in here has got to run on batteries. And it was like, that was, but Preach is like, nice. Like, what is wrong with you? Like,
where'd she do her thing?
Where would you put your,
Exactly.
grown up toys. But,
yeah, it's, this film, I have an audio drama podcast, wrote an audio drama series. There's some liberties that I wanted to take from a writing standpoint, but I realized my limitations. I'm not saying that you shouldn't challenge yourself, but there's limitations to, you got to understand what lines up with your sense of experience, intelligence, and interest. This movie seems like it's writers trying to go above and beyond on what they think they can accomplish, and they don't accomplish it. And that's what this feels like. Y'all tried to be, okay, we're going to give us this deep vibe, but the simple things is what worked the best in this movie. The simple stuff with Preach works better. The simple stuff with Franklin works better. Even the simple stuff with Carter works better. But then y'all pick this lead. Oh, she sounds intelligent. Oh, she has the British accent. Oh, it doesn't work. It never worked. And it's like y'all outkicked your coverage. And it feels like it in this movie. Like y'all tried to be intelligent. Y'all tried to sell us on, oh, we got this concept. Well, because there's people that are involved that I guess from what I see, they did some dolphins on Titanic, and they got involved in some other stuff, that special effects, but like y'all missed the mark by far, from the special effects to the writing. Like it's just whack, bro. Like y'all didn't do it. I'm sorry. I just didn't. There's nowhere in this y'all hit the mark. Like y'all thought y'all were going to be Jurassic Park. That's how I feel. Y'all didn't get there. It started off nice. It was like, okay, cool. But then how quickly y'all do the cold open, and it feels like, oh, okay, we're going to get this shark scary thriller. It's like, okay, that's cool. That works. I mean, we don't understand why the shark is breaking through a boat, but that's cool. They get saved, and it's like, whatever. But then y'all keep going, and it's like pretty much everybody dies, and it's anyway. So, like I said, I got the last scene, but I'll wait, and if y'all got anything in between that.
Ash, the only thing is like that effect of when Skoggs dies and the shark bites him in half and his foot twitching. That scene was like seared into my brain as a kid.
Oh wait.
Yeah, that foot was wilding.
His foot is still twitching, but watching it now, it's like, that is so, like, the effects are so bad. Like, it doesn't look real. Mm-hmm. But again, I am not going to let this podcast ruin this movie for me, because I'm still going to watch it and I'm still going to enjoy it for what it is. Mm-hmm. But it's just funny now, watching it from a different lens. It's like, oh, that's not really good effect. I felt bad for Skoggs though, as a character.
I did too.
Me too.
I did too.
He was a likable, character. And for him to go out like that was just, because he was already scared, and you feel scared for him. And to see him go out like that, it's like, oh man.
Yeah. Right. It again, we're going to reference Poseidon a few times before we get out of here. But like, I looked at it kind of similar to the young lady on Poseidon, where she got caught up in the thing and then hit her head, and then that was the end of it when they tried to get her out of there and she was gone. I kind of looked at it like that with him, but like it was just a tough thing, because the reality of the situation was like he didn't want to do it in the first place, but he already knew the alternative. Too much pressure in Aquatica, and it's over anyway. But it again, because of the special effects, that affected the heart, like you said to me, but it affected, like, it's so cartoony, like the way they're split in half, the way they're like, oh, you're gonna bite her by the crotch, Like all of the like, oh, we're gonna eat him from here, and then you see the fake CGI, like all of these moments. Like I feel like if the only one that like, and it still didn't feel realistic, but it looked realistic, was the guy that was on the stretcher. Like at the very beginning, it looked real. Like it didn't feel real from the sense that like, oh, a shark's gonna run right back into the glass, but it looked real. But everything else is like cartoony, where it takes the heart out of it. You know what I mean? And I want to shoot more bail for the movie, but the problem is there was other movies in '99 that got special effects where you'll look at it now, and I'm sure we're going to discuss it. You look like, man, this is '99, and then you see this, and it's like, oh, it's like Power Rangers when they did the Megazord, like the freaking its effects were so bad it looked like aluminum foil, bro. So I don't know, but you let us know how this movie is in 10 years when you watch it again, Mia. All right. So that's last scene. Says Mia, what do you got for that last scene?
Basically, so again, referencing back to Poseidon, we have another instance where they need a room to fill up for them to get out of an escape hatch. They have to let the room fill up with water before the door will open. And then they escape. They have to swim up about 60 feet, what have you. Now, when it comes to Susan and her unintentionally sacrificing herself, Preach gets bit, but he ends up, getting away because of his cross, stabs the shark in the eye, which they tell you to do if you ever watch, like Shark Week or anything. They say go for the shark's eye. They'll instantly like spit out whatever, or release their grip. But I felt like, again, she was so stupid. Like Susan, so the whole thing was about her research. Then she goes back to get her research and loses it because she has to electrocute the shark, and she fries her research. So now that was all for nothing. So then they get up there, she cuts her hand to be bait to lure the shark away. Then she thinks she's gonna escape up this ladder.
Oh man.
And the thing falls and boom, she's done. It was just so unceremonious. It was like, okay. It just felt unnecessary, but at the same time, she could go by, whatever. But then they still have, to lure the shark again with Carter, where Preach has the what is that thing called? The gun with the
I'm about to say harpoon, but
yeah.
like a harpoon. Okay.
So he has that, and he shoots and accidentally shoots Carter's leg and like he gets stuck onto the shark, and he's trying to escape, and he gets off. They blow the shark up, bada bing, bada boom. Bring me some sushi. And I feel like the payoff again was Preach making it to the end, because he was the heart of the film for me. And this is a mindless watch movie. And I didn't realize how much, because I've always liked this movie, I didn't realize how much of a mindless watch it had become for me over the years.
Yeah.
To the point where I watch it and I don't have to pay an extraordinary amount of attention to it. So it entertains me, but it's not something that I'm super duper invested in, because I enjoy Preach's scenes. I watch it, I'm watching it for him, and I'm watching, the shark scenes, but I'm not in it. And now watching it, I'm like, ooh, I never want to have to analyze.
Focus that hard.
I will never focus that hard again. Like, yeah, I'll still watch it, and it's
yeah.
But that was a tough thing to get through.
Yeah. Well, that's what makes it interesting. But before I get in more into Ash, you got the last scene too, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Pretty much Mia covered it.
Mm-hmm.
Susan sacrificing herself. I don't think she should have got that far anyway. So
Yeah.
I didn't care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're all in agreement. We're glad that Carter and Preach made it. And shout out to Carter too, because that's Punisher. I forgot. I'm like, that's the
Oh, that's the
Punisher guy.
Punisher?
Yeah, that's him.
Oh, wow.
And I
Shout
didn't
out
even
to him.
realize it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's my guy.
Oh yeah, I like the one.
So shout out to him. I mean, Mia pretty much covered all bases on it.
Yeah.
I don't have too much more to add to it.
Yeah. I think now again, I don't have no insight or nothing like that, but I feel like every movie they make, they got last minute edits, and I feel like they may have had an alternative ending where she may have lived, and I think they realized that like her character is not likable. There's no slack to the actress. I think she did the best she could with what was given. But I think that when they looked at the slides, look at the scenes, they realized like she's not a likable character, and there's nothing about her that made us love her or to be rooting for her. But there was something about Preach and there was something about Carter. They gave us enough. These are underdog characters. She was a little bit more of a, intelligent, slightly arrogant, well, definitely arrogant. And it was just like, there's nothing about her. So let's just get rid of her to kind of justify what she did to that's it's like the movie wanted to switch where they wanted to go, and it feels like that. And I think that affects it. I think what Mia said as we kind of conclude, this is a movie that works well for television, where it needs commercials. Because when you get the doses of it, you enjoy it. Like, okay, cool, I'm cooking something, and it's back on. Now you'll jump into it like, oh, okay, cool. Oh, shoot, this is a scene that's about to hit the fan. Oh, the shark about to go crazy. And they go commercial. Then you're like, all right, cool, let me chop these onions up. Let me do this. It's one of those movies that work really well for that. I mean, obviously, 1999, you're not taking it serious, but like when you're doing a podcast, and obviously in the year that we're in, it does make a difference. So it's the thing about it is, I think that if the movie wasn't trying to be overly intelligent, I think for me it would be more enjoyable. I did not like the fact I didn't enjoy it as much this time. I didn't like it because it always stood the test of time in my mind. And so I didn't like that when they tried to get technical and tried to get the needles and get the research, and it felt off. Like I watched Jurassic Park not too long ago and it still tracked, as far as the what they were trying to do. Yeah, so it felt like if they weren't trying to be so smart and they say, hey, what is going on with these sharks? And maybe it wasn't a research thing. It was like, oh, something is in the water and it's affecting the sharks. Like we're doing some other research out here. That to me, yeah.
I think that's why Jaws holds up the way it is.
Fair. Good point. Really good point. Okay, well, let's get into our next segment. I throw the ball in your court first, Ash. Character I see us foreseeing. I think I'm no fortune teller here, but I foresee us having the same character that we relate to or identify with. But let's see what we got just for the sake of the show. Ash.
Yeah, I relate to Preach. His determination to survive. I'm sure we've all been in situations where it looks like there was no way out, and then you dig deep and you push forward to get to the other side. So yeah, just his instincts and his determination to survive. Yeah.
Mia G.
I feel like I have to go with Preach too. I almost said nobody, but
oh man.
but if I had to choose, I would have to say Preach, just because even in like this serious situation, he still found a way like to make light of it. Not necessarily make light of it, but his personality still just came through. He was still, talking to himself, talking to God, talking to the bird, just having to keep himself, from getting too bogged down in the reality of the situation. He was just still very sharp and witty.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in tough situations, I have a tendency to be kind of like make light or be lighthearted. And I feel like I just related, if anything, to that.
Yeah, it's fair. I got Preach as well, for all the reasons y'all said, but I think Skag is not a bad second. Not, I mean, obviously, I hate that he demised, but I did. There was moments like, I bumped that. I'm not going back in that water. I'm not doing like. He's like, and forget her. Like the way he was acting. Like I was like, at some point, like, bro, I feel him. But then when he realized like, it's so much pressure that Aquatica can handle that they got to get with the program. So I definitely say, which ironically, I know I said Dylan when we did what's his name, but Carter wasn't necessarily the same, and it's probably just because they didn't give me as much to connect with him. But yeah, it's definitely like I said, Preach. I'm with y'all on that for all the reasons y'all said. Ash, get the stepping. What character could you do without?
Oh, we know Susan got to get the stepping. This is your fault. I'm already mad she made it as far as she did. Like, she should have been died. And she was very nonchalant too. Like, when a girl called her a stupid bee and like Jim just got out of there, you're not even showing any type of emotional, there was no emotion there. And again, I mean, you didn't know to do like that, but still, like, every time they were talking to her, telling her about herself and what's happening, like, we're dying by the second. You're not even, nothing's moving you, like her face was very like stale to me. So she definitely got to get the stepping.
Got the rest in B face.
Yeah, you need a Coke and a smile or something. Like, come on, man.
Real, get a Snickers in this mug. Big G, what character you feel needs to get the stepping?
Same. Susan, like everything Ash said, like I felt like she didn't have any redeeming like we get it, like I get the motivation.
Yeah.
But the execution was like there was no justification for it because you had a line. And then, like Ash said, there was like it was like nothing was getting through to her. It would have been nice if there would have been a moment where she came to the realization
Exactly.
what she did was wrong. But it was like no matter what happened, no matter how many people told her, how many people got hurt, how many people were furious, she was just so unmoved. And that's frustrating because it's like wake up. Like you almost wanted somebody to slap her.
Yeah.
She's not connecting it. And so that is why her character was so unredeemable, because it would have been nice if she would have said, I'm sorry I did this. All of this was like, it wasn't worth like something. But there was none of that. She just went throughout the whole thing still thinking she was right, even though she wasn't.
I like it. I gotta go Franklin. As much as I love Samuel Jackson, his character, we didn't need him. All we got is a GIF, really, like just a laughable moment that to me, well, I mean, I guess in '99 it was like such a jump scare, so it worked for then. Like it's a great jump scare, and I don't know how much filmmakers focus on if their film will hold up more so than it's the sign of the times in creation. I don't know, but to me, it's just like she's doing the research. You bring him in; he's supposed to be like kind of an investor into the research, and it's like I don't even think you need that. You could focus on the research, and the research would just go bad. You know what I mean? You don't even need him, really. Mm-hmm. And I love him, and the movie's not the same without him. Like, but it's like you could have probably not chose Samuel Jackson. Like, if you're gonna do that with that character, you could have just because he was such a strength to the film, and y'all got rid of him. Maybe because his choice. What I don't know. Maybe he looked at the script and knew it wasn't good, but it's like, yeah, it's a waste. And like all of the characters kind of just go like, like I said, we don't talk about two characters that really are meaningful. He was like the third, but obviously got gone. So I feel like y'all didn't even need him. Y'all could have just utilized a different actor if y'all want to do that. But again, he brought a memorable moment. So what are you gonna do? There's no really songs in the movie, so no favorite song for this movie. Things you would change about the movie or what they didn't get right, Ash.
Quick sidebar. Have y'all seen Ptolemy Gray with Samuel? It's a show. It's on Apple TV or Fire Stick if you like me. But it's very good. We just binged it yesterday. It's called The Last Days of Ptolemy Gray. with Samuel is so good. Y'all should check that out. It's really, really good.
Someone
Um,
told me about that.
yeah, it's fire. We finished it yesterday. The things that the movie did not get right, everything. I mean, it just was unrealistic. So just I don't need to really pick it apart. Just kind of sum it up of the facts. It looked very unrealistic in many scenes. The sharks having a larger brain and just going completely left field from their, what they really do. That just it didn't sell for me. Yeah, it just wasn't realistic. Like I said, I found myself drifting while I watching it. Like I wasn't really locked into it. And I did watch it twice. Like I watched it first with no notes because I'm like, I haven't seen this movie in years. So I'm like, I just want to watch it for what it is to see if it does hold up to how I remember it. But even on the first watch, I was kind of drifting. And then when I knew I had to watch it again, I wasn't excited. But I'm like, damn, I need my notes. So I got to watch it again. So yeah.
Okay, Meg G.
So everything I've already said, so I won't reiterate everything, but I'll just say continuity problems. I feel like, again, yeah, the sharks having enlarged brains is it's okay to make the sharks smarter, but to make them change things that are unrealistic is a little bit of a stretch. Like they're not gonna start swimming backwards just because they're smarter. It's a part of their anatomy. They can't. It's just things like that. And the effects. I feel like too, like I said, we need more connection with the characters. I feel like if more characters would have had more heart, maybe if they would have spent more time with Preach, it could have brought more heart to the other characters if they interacted with him more, just off of the strength of his character being so fleshed out. But I said it all that I could say.
Yeah.
It just isn't it's not a film breakdown watch. It's a mindless watch movie. And they weren't trying to take it so seriously, it probably would have been.
Yeah. It's funny Ash had was because I just have it's just a bad movie. It's just too many things to pick one. Definitely most of the reasons Mia said continuity. It just seems like more than anything, and I'm not going to even harp on it. It's just y'all figured out where the gold of the movie was, which was in LL Cool J's ability, but I don't think y'all knew that him as a rapper could hold as much. And when y'all looked at those edits, y'all realized that okay, we need to go back. I mean, again, this is theory land, but we need to go back and kind of rewrite it, put it a certain way with him. But with that budget, y'all ran out of time, and so you couldn't restructure the film. It felt like. Because if they knew he would carry it like that, they probably would have restructured the whole who's the main character and how we carry it from that point. That's how it feels to me. I could be totally wrong. I have no insider. Y'all can, if somebody's involved, y'all can tell me you're totally full of it. You don't know what you're talking about. That's fine. But that's the way I view it. Lastly, the moral of the story. Ash.
I didn't have anything. I mean, I guess don't play with sharks. I don't have it. That's what I got. You won't catch me in no water. You won't catch me in no shark boots. I burnt them out.
Man,
Shout out to Lotto.
What about you, Big G? What's the moral of the story?
Child, it ain't no moral to this story.
Ain't no moral of the story. For me, it's the simple moral of the story. Mind your damn business. Leave them animals alone and mind your damn business. How many movies do we gotta watch? Not just this, plenty of them. Mind your damn business. Like you always just gotta pick at stuff and go about your business. Why are you putting it all all right? I get it. Oh, it's humanity. It's for the greater good. I get all that. I promise you I do. But at the risk, you ain't counting up the cost of the risk. You know what I mean? So just mind your damn business. That's the moral of the story for me. All right. Just as simple as that. So one of the Stoop kids here, Mia G, is going to be out next week. She's going on a field trip, where she got to pack some bags. And so she's going to be on a field trip. And so what we decided rather, instead of it being my next pick, which it would have been, I figured since it's a little bit new for us and unorthodox, I figured that me and Ash would actually conversate and pick one together. And then when Mia gets back, go back to our original rotation. So me and Ash know what's the next film, but Mia G doesn't know. And she don't know how it's going to be because I imagine she's going to be on the other side listening to what the podcast will be the following week. So do you want me to reveal it or do you want to reveal it, Ash?
You go ahead.
All right. A little disclaimer. Something came up last minute as far as our next movie pick. We will explain when we get around to that movie, what that movie is. So there was a slight change. So this is where I'm going to give the reveal. So all of the cast, well, Mia doesn't know this, but she will know this, obviously. But the next movie we're going to be doing, sorry for the anticlimacticness, is going to be Malibu's Most Wanted. So I just wanted to place this here so that y'all can get prepared to watch this silly movie that we're going to be doing next. All right, y'all. Anything you want to give the Stoop kids, Mia G, before we give our last, handles and everything, getting out of here before the street lights come on and all that good stuff?
Thanks for bearing with us through this one. Yikes. But thank you guys for holding it down for me next week when I will be away. And I can't wait to hear and see what you guys do with Three Ninjas. I feel like I've seen parts of it, but I've never sat and watched the whole thing. But I can't wait to see and hear what y'all do and if y'all end up having a guest.
Okay.
And thanks to the Stoop kids.
Yeah. And just as we close, there's gonna be plenty more movies like this, so don't even worry about it. There's gonna be a movie that any of Ash might pick it, bro, no. There's gonna be a movie that I pick. Well, there's already been one, but there's gonna be another one that I'm gonna pick, and it's gonna be like, oh man, So this is what we do here. We having an honest, objective conversation about films from a grown-up's perspective in our childhood days. So it's gonna be plenty of films like this that we're gonna watch, and our lenses change. So don't worry about it. People are here for this too. They love a watch where it's like, oh, they don't like it, or they are into it, or they don't. People are gonna have fun with it. I mean, shout out to Ray P for Queen of Slim. I always harken back to she went Kobe Bryant 81 points on that. Seriously, she tore that movie down. Man. So it'll be plenty of movies like this, but nonetheless, I'm glad that you picked it because I'm glad that we were able to discuss it. And again, we all remembered it relatively the same until we had to do it this way. So it definitely will make us all kind of look like, okay, maybe I need to watch this first before but we're gonna always do that, and that's the fun of it because we don't get to conversate before doing the movie. So that's what I like about what we do. We agree to it when we get there and we get our honest opinion. So I appreciate you, Mia, bringing this up. It's very popular. It's a staple, obviously. And I had fun doing it regardless. It wasn't that it wasn't going to be fun to have this conversation. It was just, okay, this is going to go a different way. So, if y'all want to reach out to us, childishgrownups3@gmail.com. Obviously, Instagram, childishgrownups, man. We appreciate y'all for listening. Y'all know we're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Leave a comment, leave a review. You reach out any capacity y'all want, man. We thank y'all Stoop kids for getting off the stoop to go play tag for a little bit and also meet us at home base to talk films. But now street lights is on. We got to get back home. Of course, we're back from Christmas break and it's Tuesday, so y'all know what time it is. We got to get back to school. So thank y'all for tuning in. Peace out.